It's Gavin here, and this is my opinion on Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones. This is the odds of which the fight goes, in my opinion. I think this is going to be a good fight, the biggest fight. This is going to have the biggest, most pay-per-view sold, definitely, more than Khabib versus Conor. And so let's get right into the video. What I mean by the odds is Jon Jones winning the fight by a certain way of the odds, by a way in Jon Jones has like a 30% chance of winning by submission or something like that, or like that the finish or decision happening. Like the chances of Jon Jones getting a decision is like 70%. I didn't type it correctly on here. I don't know why, but okay. So the odds of JBJ getting a sub. I know that Tom is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, at least I think that's what I've heard. But Jon just has so much more experience in fighting and grappling, and he was like a collegiate wrestler or something. Not a collegiate wrestler, but like a high school or college wrestler or something. And so that I think that Jon has a 45% chance of submitting Tom because Jon Jones, his submissions are on a completely different level. I mean, his guillotine against Lyoto Machida, his Kimura Anaconda, I don't know what it's called, against Vitor Belfort, that submission against Cyril Gahn. And he has knockouts too, but if his odds of getting a sub is just, I feel like that's one of the most likely ways Jon will win if he does. The chances of Jon getting a KO/TKO. I think Jon's chances of getting a TKO are more than likely because Tom has a wonky style, like they're throwing punches, like circling his head around, like trying to dodge the hits. And I think that if Jon Jones can figure out that style, I think he could get knocked out or TKO'd on the feet. So that's why I think that Jon has a 40% chance of getting a KO/TKO. And I just think that if Jon can figure out a way to, if he can figure out a way to, if he could just, study him, study his fights and catch him when he's trying to do all that head movement stuff, that Tom Aspinall would get KO'd, and I think he'd get TKO'd or something like that on the grounds. The chances of Jon Jones getting a decision. This would have to be a 50% chance of happening because Tom has never went to a decision, and we know that we don't know how good his cardio is. So I just don't know if Tom will be able to last the whole 5 rounds. I just feel like this is more unlikely to happen because this is supposed to be a finished fight, and I don't see this happening. Jon Jones is a finisher. He had, lots of his controversial fights or decisions, but, most of his fights, I'm pretty sure most of his fights are by a finish that he gets. And I just think that Jon is, not getting a decision because Tom Aspinall, he's a finisher. Not a single decision in his career, at least I think UFC career. Yeah, UFC career has no decisions. I don't know if he has in his other corporation he's in. But, and Jon Jones is also a finisher. I know, like the Thiago Santos fight, the Alexander Gustafsson fight, the Dominic Reyes fight. We're excluding those fights, and we're going to all these great finishes that Jon Jones has, and I just feel like this is not going to a decision. The chances of Tom getting a sub, yeah, this is just not happening. I know Tom is good, but Jon Jones' grappling is just on another level, and I spelled another wrong. He has just way more experience in the UFC, and his ground game is not Tom Aspinall. Jon Jones' ground game is just elite. So I think that Tom's chance of getting a sub is 5% happening. I mean, he has subs when he submitted Alexander Volkov, Andrei Arlovsky, or I don't know if I just said his last name right, Arlovsky or something. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Tom has submissions. Just he's not. I don't see him getting a submission against. I don't see him getting a submission against Jon Jones. I could see Tom getting a submission against Cyril Gahn. I don't see that happening against Jon Jones. The chances of Tom getting a TKO/TKO, I think if Tom wins this fight, he's most likely going to win by KO or TKO. Because most of the fights he had has ended by KO. So I think his chances of getting a knockout is 70% likely to happen if he wins. If he wins, it's most likely going to go by knockout. I don't really see it going to decision. Tom's chances of getting a decision. Tom is not a decision guy, and he is always looking for a finish every minute of the fight. But Jon Jones is also able to prevent Tom from getting a decision because he could use his amazing wrestling, his pretty good striking, his ankle, not his ankle picks, but like just his trips and everything. And I feel like that if Tom is earning the decision, I feel like that's 25% likely to happen. I feel like it's going to be he's either going to get finished or Jon Jones is going to get finished. I don't see this being a decision. I can also see Tom Aspinall getting an early like a TKO, but I could see just in my mind like he gets like a TKO, but the ref stops it early, and then Jon Jones gets up and he's like, "Why would you stop the fight?" And then he retires. But I just think that Tom he's not getting a decision. I just think that if he wins, he's gonna finish him. Who I think will win? I think Jon Jones is going to beat Tom Aspinall by TKO because Jon Jones is a super experienced UFC fighter. I think his abilities to beat all these great heavyweights is unbelievable, speaking that most of his career he was a light heavyweight. And I think that his abilities to win a fight against Tom Aspinall is way more likely than people think. And I think that people are underestimating Jon Jones' ability to beat Tom Aspinall because Jon Jones he's just an elite fighter. It's like if you're fighting Jon Jones, you're either gonna get finished or you're gonna get a controversial decision loss. But I just think that Jon Jones is just on a completely different level, and I think that this will be a good test for Jon Jones. But I feel like his earlier fights were probably harder than his upcoming fight with Tom Aspinall because I know that when he fought Lyoto Machida, he got rocked, but he got that guillotine. But like I bet Lyoto Machida and Vitor Belfort, for when Vitor had him in that armbar, gave him a harder time than Tom Aspinall was going to give him this whole fight. And I just think that Jon is just Alexander Gustafsson's probably gave Jon more trouble than in their first fight, more than Tom Aspinall's going to give Jon Jones trouble. I just think this fight is going to go to Jon Jones by TKO, and then he's going to either fight Alex Pereira. Well, no, I don't think he's going to fight Alex Pereira. I think he's going to retire after that and go to some old person corporation like GFL and just run through everybody. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon for more UFC content. See ya.